This is a cheap toolbox that a student made at high school and threw away, and I thought, I don't throw that away, give it to me. And I painted black years and years ago. And here's my tool kit, my restringing tool kit. This has every size wire in it that I'll typically use, and these are metal, these are brakes that you should have with small canisters like this. This is one way to do it. And so I've got every size in here. This is not what I use to restring a piano. This is what I use as my emergency kit that I carry in the car. So I've got every size wire there. If something breaks that's plain wire, I've got it. The thing that you want to buy an extra tuning lever. This is called a Wonder Wand. I love the ball, and it's got a long tip because especially on a grand piano, when you're on a grand piano, you want to have some clearance over the struts. And so this is an extra long tip, and this is a number 2 tip that works on almost any piano. So I use that to string. These are Xuron wire cutters, and I like these because they cut the wire flat and not in a point that will stick you. It'll still stick you, but it won't hurt you as bad as the pointy, needly one. And these are the only ones that I would buy, the Xuron, Xuron. Get a small pair of needle nose pliers that work well, and small pair, you can get a larger pair, but I'm trying to fit these in economically and make room for everything. This is a bass string twister. You want to have one of these because when you put bass strings on, you have to twist it and then put it on the hitch pin, and this is really good to do that with, and it saves a lot of time. Now this is a pair of parallel pliers, and this is the same pair of pliers, but I found sometimes I need to get in really close, so I just cut these down, filed them down a little bit, so the same thing there, and that seems to work a little better for me. Sometimes these are skinnier, the jaws are a little bit skinnier, and sometimes I like to use those. So I've got the 2 pair in. These are more heavy duty, and these are narrower and skinnier. Sometimes when I'm digging in for the wire, I'll use this curved pair of needle nose pliers, and so I like to have that little pair in there. This is simply a string hook, so when I want to dig things out, or in the bridge especially, I want to put those wires through the bridge. I'll lift up that wire. It's just a piece of number 22 wire and a little piece of wood there. This is to pound down the tuning pins. There's just a little indentation there, and you use that with a hammer to tap in the tuning pins. This is actually an A-graft remover. I made it out of a bolt and just cut a hole, a slot in there, and made a little wooden handle for it. So it's just a bolt, and this is what I take the A-grafts out. So this twists out the A-grafts of the grand piano, and well, on any piano, but mostly you'll be dealing with A-grafts in a grand piano. I like to take this will show you the size of the tuning pins. That's what these are. And so this pin right here is it's a number 2. Okay, and then I carry extra tuning pins in here for different reasons. That's a number 2 as well. And one of the reasons that I carry these tuning pins is I make my coils in the grand piano, or whatever piano actually. I'll make them on a fake or a dummy, they call it, dummy tuning pin to make your coil. So always carry some extra pins in there. I even have some pins in here that I cut a slot into instead of the other way, just a regular pin, and having to pry that out. I tried this, but I actually like just a regular tuning pin. Always carry a few mutes when you're stringing to be able to tune it up. Carry a little small hammer. This is something, I don't know where I got it from, Harbor Freight or some cheap thing, because sometimes you want to tap some coils down, you want a small hammer, not a big hammer. And speaking of tapping down, this is a coil setter, and notice that I did a little indentation there. So when I'm settling a coil down, I put this over where the becket of the wire, where it comes out of the tuning pin, and that way it's not going to break that string, the wire, as it comes out of the tuning pin. So this is a coil setting tool, and it's also called a becket breaker because you can use the other side of it to break the becket. That's another tapping thing. I'll give that one to you. This is a Yamaha style string lifting tool or coil lifting tool, and it's the only one that I really like. Yamaha made these, And now I think there's another company that makes these. It's long this way and it's skinny up here, so you can really get down and lift the coils up with this. Plus, it still has the typical space here right there. But this is the Yamaha style tool. A good pair of round nose pliers. You use these a lot in stringing. You don't want to use the needle nose pliers when you're making your German hitch pin loops and things like that. You want to use this. And when you're splicing wire, you want to use this as well. You don't want any sharp angles in your splices. This tool is a coil tightener, and I like to use this, and you put it on the tuning pin with the new wire, new coil on it. It goes over the top of the coil, and you go around and around like this, and it kind of smashes that wire becket and makes it, instead of an angle like that, it makes it a sharper angle, and it tightens that coil. And there's two different sizes of ends here to go a little bit deeper or shallower. This is a winder, a string winder, yeah, or coil winder. And so a lot of times when I'm using my tuning pin to make my coils, you put this in here and then you wrap that coil and the wire around there, and that's one thing that's invaluable. You have to have one of those. This is an awl, just something sharpened, so to pry out the tuning pin, to pry out the wire from the tuning pin, let's get a regular tuning pin. So here it is, there's a regular tuning pin, so the wire's coming out of there. And so I'll jam this through that wire. When I get it all the way through, by the time it gets right to here, the wire is out of the hole. So I just jam it in and I lift it up and it's caught. The coil is captured on this awl. So I jam it through and lift it up and it's caught on that awl. This is a little clamp that I use for the hitch pin. So if I put the hitch pin loop down there on the bottom of the grand piano or upright, either one, and you want that loop, that German hitch pin loop or whatever it is, to stay on there, or French loop, then you just put this on and that'll keep it on. So if this was your hitch pin loop and your wires on it, it would look like that. This is another tool like I showed you earlier. This one also I didn't tell you that has the string gauges so you can see what gauge it is there. This is a little bit better one. These are quite expensive and I like using these, but I still prefer a micrometer over the gauges, but I do carry two of those. A good pair of wire cutters, normal wire cutters. Sometimes you want to cut something and these Zerons don't work as well, so you just get a heavy duty pair of wire cutters. This is a coil making tool, which I never use anymore, but you would put this in here, put the wire through, use this crank to make your little coil and so forth. And anyway, I carry a tuning fork in there. There's more tuning pins. I carry some extra oversized tuning pins. Most pianos are strung with number 2 pins, and so when a pin gets loose in the block, you'll want to put a number 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, and it goes clear up to 7. I would not use a 7 if I could help it, but I might use a 3 and a 4 and a 5. So that's what these are, just extra ones. And also carry some super glue in. And last but not least, a file. Sometimes you just need a file, an extra file in there. Now you notice that this is bent at the end. Sometimes I'll want to get into the string and lift that coil from the bottom, so I'll use this little thing to pry that string up. And basically that's it.
Here's a list of the tuning pin sizes. Here's an example of a really bad hitch pin loop. Don't do this. More bad examples. Don't do this either. And don't forget the bridge. I don't recommend splicing in the plain wire, and especially in the speaking length. Just replace the string. I hope you enjoyed this video, so please like and subscribe.